Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. Before we get started, smash that like button, share with a friend. Got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Like I say, keep it tasteful, keep it respectful. Like I said, it's only football. I'm going to go hit y'all with this real quick one here because I told y'all I was going to come back and hit you with my little picks. I'm going to be doing picks every week now from now on out and whatnot. We're at the midway point of this great game of ours. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and hit y'all with some picks and whatnot, and what I think is gonna be popping off coming up, starting tomorrow and going into the weekend and whatnot, going into Sunday and whatnot, probably going into Monday. Baltimore, Miami. If Lamar is back, this is gonna be an ass whooping for Miami. I think if Lamar comes back, everything is fine with Henry. They may go on an epic run. That might also solidify his place in history of playing quarterback playing at that position. At the end of the day, they have to make a run right now. They have to make a run right now. So it was good that they actually won the other day, but they have to make a run right now. Denver and Houston. I'm gonna take Houston. Houston defense with stymie and stuff like that. Time to take it down a notch with Denver, but we'll see what happens. Denver's playing really good ball. We'll see what happens there. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Houston just because I think I like their defense. Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh don't stop the run anymore. That's not your father's Steelers anymore. It's not the Steelers I came up on, not the Steelers that I came up on in that part of the early to mid 90s or even in early 2000, 2010. The Steelers defense has not been the Steelers defense in just about a decade, as far as I'm concerned. They got some players here and there, but they're not the same. So I'm definitely picking Indianapolis. Figure Jonathan Taylor do his thing and stuff like that. Niners and the Giants. I'm gonna pick the Giants. Yeah, it's a little upset pick for the week. I'm gonna pick the Giants. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Giants and whatnot. We'll see what happens there. I'll pick the Giants and whatnot. I think they can put pressure on Jones. I honestly think they can. Atlanta and New England. Oh, taking New England. I'm done with Atlanta. Atlanta's just a major disappointment already. So I'll probably never pick Atlanta again as long as I'm alive. Los Angeles, no matter how much I love Bijan Robinson and think that he can be the best back in the league for the next 4 or 5 years with his swiftness and with his speed, with his hands, with his blocking ability, everything he does and whatnot. It's just something about Atlanta just rubs me the wrong way. Just that they play too much. Los Angeles, the Chargers and the Titans. Chargers. Herbert probably gonna have a field day on them guys. Carolina and Green Bay. Taking Green Bay. Love is smooth, very smooth, silky smooth to even say that. Two-headed monster at the running back position. Defense is nice, pretty good and stuff like that. I don't think old boy's coming back playing Carolina at quarterback position. Not that it's going to matter much because Carolina is just Carolina right now. They're playing like an expansion team. They're playing like it was 1995, 90, whatever. Minnesota and Detroit. I'm taking Detroit all day. Detroit, I think personally is the best team in the NFC right now. McCarthy is supposed to come back, but you're saying he's looking good, but it's not going to matter. No, they're going to be on his ass anyway. Chicago and Cincinnati. I'm going to take Chicago. I think if Chicago really wants to turn the tables, I think something's wrong with Flacco. So if Chicago, if Caleb can do his thing and the defense holds, do what they're supposed to do against Cincinnati, I think they can come out here at 5-3. New Orleans and Los Angeles Rams, taking the Rams all day. New Orleans, like I said, getting ready to become the Aints again. Jacksonville and the Raiders and whatnot, taking Jayville. I think Pete Carroll has had his run. Geno Smith has had his run. He had his little comeback of the year. He had his last couple of years and stuff like that. Game over. Kansas City and Buffalo. I think Kansas City's on a mission. They got all their weapons now. They got the whole kit and caboodle right now. And I think they get to going, it's going to be a problem. Buffalo still playing with injuries on defense and everything like that. Seattle and Washington, ain't that funny? I'm going to take I'm gonna take Seattle on this one here. I think they should be able to come out victorious and whatnot. I don't think Jaden Daniels is playing, and Washington's having issues on defense and everything, and so we'll see what happens. And of course, Arizona and Dallas. I'm taking Dallas for obvious reasons. I don't know if Kyle is playing, but really at the end of the day, it's kind of sad with Arizona based on the fact that they should be actually 4-0, or at least 4-1 by now, and they've let some games go. Kyle has been hurt, and if Kyle is going to make this move to go to the next echelon of quarterback, he's been a Pro Bowler twice. He's been to the playoffs, but he's been hurt, nagging injuries, his toe injury and stuff like that. This might be the pinnacle of his career insofar as being good, but not being what somebody like myself think that he can be with this particular franchise. So those are my picks for that of week 9 coming up, and I'll be making picks and doing shows and stuff like that from now on until the end, all the way up until the Super Bowl and everything like that. So you guys don't have to worry. I'm gonna sit up there and lend my voice to this, and I'll tell y'all what I feel. Also, in times like this, I'll also mention little things about Hall of Fame players and whatnot, who should be in, who should not be in, and stuff like that. I was thinking about this the other day. I saw TJ Houshmandzadeh, who was talking about that. He said, I don't understand why Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, is not in the Hall. And he said something very interesting that made a lot of sense. And he said something, I said, if you ain't like the top 5 players, if you're one of the top 5 players for a nice period of time, you should be that. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. I agree with him. I agree with what he's saying, what he said, and it makes sense. However, like I said, Chris Carter said something. You're looking at Chad. Chad has some nice numbers and whatnot, but only 67 touchdowns for supposed to be a guy to take the roof off the top of a defense, and for his skill set. He had 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He had 7 altogether. 11,059 yards, only 67 touchdowns for that. That's almost like a possession receiver. Now people just simply say, well, Michael Irvin. I say, Michael Irvin won 3 championships, so what we talking about? Ain't nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to talk about. Chad led the league one year at 1369. At 1369 back in 06. He was a first-team All-Pro. The year before that, 2005, 1432. His best seasons was 1432, 1369, 1440. He's had some nice seasons. They put up some nice numbers. But what did the Bengals do? They did absolutely nothing. And not only that, what I would mention to TJ Houshmandzadeh, who I definitely thought was a nice receiver as well. Him, Chris Henry, all them guys over there and whatnot. That was a lot of talent that was wasted over there in that particular franchise. A lot of wasted talent. And Chad was wasted over there. And one of the things that I want to explain to everybody, and I think I said this before, because I was talking about this before. I talked about this a couple of months ago. The problem with Chad is that Chad, at the end of the day, he did not take the game serious. He didn't take the game serious. Made some money. He didn't take the game serious. Now, that can be, because I'm an outlier, that the whole thing of it is that those guys look at stuff like that. He didn't take the game serious. And not only that, he played in Cincinnati where it's a sorry franchise to an extent, to be perfectly honest with you. And he didn't take the game serious. He did not take the game serious. So when you're not taking the game serious, then you have an opportunity to up your game, get into a Super Bowl with New England, and you couldn't even start on that team. How are you a perennial All-Pro? What's that? A 6-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time All-Pro altogether, and you can't get on the field at New England? You can't even beat anybody out over there? That's what hurt him, TJ. You have to look at that. How are you finishing your career? Then you only had 67 touchdowns. And playoffs, let's see how many times you went to the playoffs. Chad played in 1, 2, 3, 4 playoffs with the Cincinnati Bengals, which is, he only played in 2 playoff games. He played in 2 with New England in 1 year. He played in 2. So all those years with Cincinnati, 2. Go back to the regular season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 years, you played in 2 playoff games. Where's the impact? Where's the impact at? There's no impact. You didn't do anything. And then on top of that, going up inside old girl's head, even though it's probably warranted. But that happened. And that's what it's all about. That's why, Shannon Sharp can say what he said. Chris Carter can say what he said. Those guys talk all that shit at the end of the day. Still come down to numbers. I sit up there and seen Mark Shureliff or whatever, the offensive line he played. He got 3 rings. I think he got 2 with Denver and 1 with Washington. Shureliff. And he's talking about how Elway's better quarterback than Mahomes and this and that and that. And he's talking to some little young kid and everything like that. He said, I got the eye test. I got the eye test. At the end of the day, he said, I don't deal with stats. No. You have to deal with stats, homie. I'm going to tell you why you deal with stats. You deal with stats because you deal with wins and losses. Those are stats. Those are numbers. What I tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. So you can say all that all you want, but Elway is, what Elway went to what? He's 2-3 in Super Bowls. He won 2. His last 2. He wouldn't have got them if it wasn't for T.O. But that's T.O. With not T.O. but with Terrell Davis, T.D. So it means something. So going back to that of Chad, impressive stats. Now somebody say, well, Julio Jones only has 66, 67, 68 touchdowns. He has 18, 17, 15, 14. Those numbers add up. You don't have those. You have 2 1,400-yard seasons, which is great, and 2 1,300-yard seasons and whatnot. And everything else is still good. It's nice. If Chad took his craft serious, this would be a completely different situation. He did not take. He is he is a top 5, one of the top 5 characters of the game, and should have been mentioned as one of the all-time greats. But Chad played too much. He still plays now. It's a game. Everything is a game to him. Everything is funny fun. Everything is jokey joke with him, and that's why he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. And if he does, he'll be damn near dead by the time they put him in. And really, what's the point by that time? And it'll be other receivers that will pass him. I'll put Torrey Big Game Holt in front of him in an instant. Who needs to be in? Like I said, maybe about 3rd ballot Hall of Famer. But that's what I'm saying. And I could probably go on, but this is right off the top of my head. I said Chad played. Hall of Fame talent, but Chad played too much. Chad did not take the game serious. He never took it serious. I mean, he played and all that, but he played on a perennial loser franchise, and he didn't take the game serious. And on top of that, then to solidify his career, he goes to New England and he can't even get on the fucking field. He can't get on the fucking field. How do you not get on the field? At age, which is 33 at the time. In New England, take Moss out of it. You could take Moss out of it. Wes Welker, because that's about the high-end aspect of receivers over there in New England. You could throw in Stanley Morgan from back in the day. They had regular receivers, a ton of regular receivers that gave them regular work and got rings. Chad is supposed to be one of the top receivers coming into the game, and he can't even get on the fucking field because he didn't know the fucking playbook and didn't want to play and wanted to sit up there and run routes the way he did shit over in Cincinnati. So no, TJ, that's why he's not in there. That's why. That's why he's not in there. You talk about the top, top 5, top 10, whatever, and stuff like that. But I'm like, at the end of the day, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He played around, he joked around, clowny clown, jokey, Martin Lawrence shit and stuff like that. That's why he's not in. And I'm going to stand on that. I'll die, what these jokers say, I'll die on that hill. But that's my point. Should he be? He's one of the top 5 characters that ever played the game. Should have been a top 10 wide receiver that ever played the game. Didn't take the game serious. Proposing on the sidelines, fake jacket. He still jokes about that shit to this day. He don't care about the Hall of Fame. So when he says shit like that, them guys listen to that. Them guys ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? So that's my picks. That's my little rant. And like I tell you guys all the time, there is no GOAT. There's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And like I tell you guys all the time, there is no GOAT. There's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And numbers don't lie, Mark Schlereth, and get emotional. People do. You guys have a good one.